Hey guys, Akiba here from CryptoSlate. Today I've got the amazing Adam Levy with me from the Mint podcast. How you doing, Adam?
Yo, 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 feeling good, living the dream, Liam. Thank you for having me. What's going on?
A lot. It's been a busy day. But it's not about me. So just want to quickly introduce yourself to the CryptoSlate viewers that may not know who you are. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, so my name is Adam Levy, Levy Chain on Twitter, levy.eth as my handle. And I've been in crypto since 2017. I got started on a college campus doing like community related stuff, but slowly transitioned into like the venture side of things. My first gig in the space was working for Draper Goren Holm. It's an LA based early stage equity fund. I was there for about 2.5 years between interning and working full time, but quit about a year ago. I think it's a few days ago, it was about a year ago to
Wow,
focus more on the
congratulations.
thank you. To focus more on the creator economy side of things. I'm a drummer. I've been a creative since like 5 years old. And what got me into the space was seeing how musicians were benefiting using blockchain tech back in 2017. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what kind of like kept me into the rabbit hole since then. But more frequently, what many of you may know me from, or what many of you may not know me from, is Mint, the podcast. It's a podcast focusing on the Web3 creator economy, where I document the creators, the collectors, and the founders all building towards a better creator economy. So thank you for having me on. I'm super stoked to be here.
Oh no, no, thanks for coming on. I mean, that's something that I'm super interested in as well. So like I do have a recording studio as well, and I was at NAMM in LA recently, the big music tech convention at the Anaheim Center. And what really blew me away is there was not a single mention of crypto or NFTs at one stand, at one place, at one talk, the entire event. And I just
Wow.
thought, wow, when you kind of think, are we still early? Like, because I'm sure you're well aware of all the amazing things you can do with blockchain for musicians. Not a single mention of it. Not one stand.
Crazy. And it's the most exciting use case to be honest. It's that one use case that's really inspiring beyond trading digital art on chain or PFPs that many of the mainstream people may kind of understand as what NFTs are today.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think it also then comes back into one of the things that someone was mentioning to me recently that there is a bit of an insular community with Web3 though, that like we try and encourage other communities and industries to come to us. I do think there's a part now where we need to, like say NAM for instance, one stand, one company there doing NFTs and showing you how musicians could gain from that. I was chatting to people in the bar kind of afterwards. I was talking to one musician who she's selling kind of her own like vinyl records and things. She is signed, but she's still pushing things. And she had no concept of what you could do with an NFT and how putting a track with an NFT could allow her to give benefits to fans at gigs and all these sorts of things. No idea of it at all. So how do you think that we can get out there more and kind of go to other spaces, and what spaces should we be going to kind of spread the word in a, for want of a better way of saying it?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the artists themselves and how curious they are as like a entrepreneur for the most part.
Right?
You'll never know about something unless you expose yourself to questions that might kind of lead you on like a curiosity path to learn more about something. In my point of view, the best way to get involved and the like the single thing that you should do if you want to learn more about music NFTs is to join some of the top communities that are kind of like projecting what music NFTs are and are the example for many artists as like the roadmap for getting into quote unquote music NFTs. But also music NFTs is such a like I guess like washed down term, just like community is. Like everybody says, oh, you got to build a community.
Mhm.
There's so many more things than just tokenizing audio files that the music industry is about to go through. From royalty payments to merch to ticketing to all these other components that kind of encompass Web3 and the music industry. But the best way to learn about it is to simply go on Google and be like, what is a music NFT? Right. And just like
Mhm.
start from that top level funnel rabbit hole and just work your way down. Go on crypto Twitter, try to find the music NFT or music Web3 communities like Good Karma, like Songcamp, like Overstim DAO. The list goes on and on and on of like where you could kind of find reputable sources and reputable people to learn more from.
Great advice. So your podcast is obviously one way you can learn as well, because you're talking with different creators, and I
Yeah.
think you defined itself as where crypto meets creators. So what I really want to know is what have you learned from doing the podcast? Because you talked to hundreds of guests and some really famous ones. What would you think you learned the most from it?
NFTs are more than just an avenue for selling digital images. That's like the mainstream's misconception, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's just a JPEG.
It's genuinely the first time ever where you're able to build, monetize, and own an audience in a way that you've never been able to do so before. So I've learned a ton from guests, and those lessons are a direct kind of like result of what I try to apply to myself as a creator, because I am a creator at the end of the day, right? I'm a creator creating content for other creators, right? And
Yeah.
when I say build, monetize, and own, okay, these are three keywords that I consistently say across many episodes on the podcast. So, building an audience is using NFTs to kind of align incentives and to get some type of token in somebody's wallet to feel equally aligned with what you're doing as a creator. Monetize is a way to kind of sell those NFTs, whether it be on a brand level, whether it be on an individual level, right? So, from the case of like a music NFT, for example, you can tokenize a song file, whether it be an MP3 or a WAV. You can sell that to a fan who loves you as an artist and who wants to support you early on, right? So that's monetizing. And owning your audience is the most interesting thing, which I'm about to go into in season 6 of Mint, where the data layer of being able to access the information around who your audience is on chain has never been more powerful in the years of this whole creator economy boom. For example, okay, what does that mean? Owning your audience. Every single season, I give out free NFTs to my listeners. I've given out over 8,000 about to date across season 2
Are
to
these the
season 5.
pins?
These are pins. These are
Yeah.
non-transferable free pins. And the sole intention for me as a creator, I want to know who are my earliest supporters and how have they progressed every single season. Okay. But for me, what that also tells me, it allows me to learn more about who these individuals are, right? Data that otherwise would have been restricted from like Web2 platforms like, I don't know, Instagram, whatever. I now have a plethora of insights onto wallet ages, onto net worth, onto other communities that they hang around in. And then I can strategically build who and what kind of like my content reaches, right? So it's not a way as in the form of like manipulating, it's more of a way to learn and grow as a creator in a different model, right? For example, I know a lot about who my off-chain audience is, right? As a creator through like Buzzsprout or Google Analytics as to people who kind of filter onto my website. But having this on-chain data is a whole nother vehicle to kind of building and growing as a creator.
And then you've also got the element of privacy for the users as well. Then the data
Right.
that they're sharing is the stuff that they know is transparently available. It's not stuff that's been hidden that
Right.
you have to risk that. Like I once got, I won't mention what it was, but I genuinely received a notification for a tweet that was to do something in my private life that I was like, there's no way or reason why that would have been like push notified to me in any way, sense or form. It wasn't like just like, oh, buy a fridge. It was to do with a personal family thing that was going on. I was like, there is no way that Twitter has not somehow listened in on what's going on. I know they claim that they don't, and there's loads of anecdotal stuff, and I mean, I hate conspiracy theories like that. But that one moment made me realize, and it was like a tough time in my life. I was like, holy crap, like that's awful. And
Yeah.
like, and it's
How,
not,
how many
it's off.
how many times do you just find yourself talking about something and then it just appears on your feed? Like how crazy is that?
Yeah, and
So
there's elements of that you can like. If there weren't any coincidences, then that would be weird. So I
yeah.
think that's a part of it. But this one thing for me was just like, yeah, there's no way that that would be notified because it was a notification of some random person who was also going through that personal situation, talking about the same situation. It wasn't like a brand. It was just a
Mm.
notified of someone with 20 followers that they sent a tweet that was similar to what was going on in my life. I was like, that's messed
So
up.
so for me as a creator, just to clarify the issue of privacy, it's actually incredibly private because I just have 42 characters of a public address, right? I don't have your
Mm.
first name, I don't have your last name, I don't have your IP address, I don't have your home address, I don't have any of that sensitive information. More so, I have publicly accessible data that I could use to my benefit to learn more about who my audience is on chain. So, as a creator, those are kind of like the three things that I've sort of taken away on how to do from all these interviews that I've captured on the podcast. How to build an audience, how to monetize that audience, and how to own that audience specifically.
And I mean, the great thing about that as well is you can use a different wallet. If you only want to share certain information, you can create another wallet. You can't have another phone, or you can, but it's super expensive.
Right.
Like you accept those terms and conditions, and that's it. You're stuck in it. We have the option to create multiple wallets. So I mean, sort of tying into some of these areas, there's lots of innovation. You've already talked about some of the potentials there. What do you think are some of the biggest roadblocks for creators?
I think it's still the process of creating a wallet. And let's say you surpass that hurdle, okay? Because a lot of people in crypto would say it's actually, frankly, pretty easy to create a wallet. I'd argue it's still really difficult because there's a lot of buzzwords and education needed to kind of
Hmm.
understand, let alone private key, public key, send money to your address, etc. The next thing is they want to now build a token-based community. They want to build an on-chain audience, a collector base in crypto using social tokens, NFTs, DAO primitives, etc. But the next big hurdle is understanding what tools are required to actually do so. The most common tool that people use is Discord to kind of house their community online,
Hmm.
right? But for many creators, that actually becomes very overwhelming. And you're seeing more creators kind of tweet out, like, forget Discord, I'm starting a Telegram group chat. One channel, sync communication, no need for multiple channels. I'd say between opening a wallet and all the tools available out there, it's going to get better over the next few months to years. But in the meantime, it's still a big hurdle for getting more creators into Web3 because think about it. Majority of the creator builds their audience in Web 2. They build virality networks that they can then distribute communication and message to all these people that follow them, and they try to funnel them right into buying their assets, into buying these tokens to build more of a ownership-based community.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah.
process of being able to funnel a user from Web 2 into Web 3 is incredibly broken because you need your users and your audience to also create the wallet, understand how to join the community, and that entire process is just very convoluted and messed up at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, UX and UI is something you hear in time and time again across Web3 that they've just not got it right yet. I mean, the analogy that I kind of use is it feels like if you watch like the Jobs movie, you see the old Apple computer that's all wires. Like that's kind of how I feel like we're at the moment. We've got this new innovative product that's going to change the world, but it looks like crap. Like we
Yeah,
need to put the nice Apple sheen on it and make the user experience, put it in the box that goes. Like we need all of that for crypto.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but we're not there yet. But
Yeah.
hopefully the whole wave of venture funding that just came in during the bull market will enable that. We'll see.
So, I mean, is there anything you hear, and this may not be something that you kind of get because obviously you're talking more to creators, but there's a lot of people at the moment sort of saying that they're almost relieved about a bear market because it allows them to sort of build and stop worrying about dealing with exponential growth. Do you see it being as a positive?
It's super positive, and I'll speak on two fronts for the industry as a whole and for who I am as an individual in the space. As a creator, okay, I'm able to kind of weave through the noise now and find the most dedicated builders, creators, and collectors who are going to stick through it through thick and thin, right? From a
Hmm.
macro point of view, uh, you're going to get some of the best projects in the next 2 years being built right now, or have already been
Mm.
starting to be built right now, right? If you look at 2018, you look at 2019, you look at crypto winter, you look at the previous bear markets, a lot of the products that we love and adore today, from the DeFi protocols to the DEXs, a lot of them started during DeFi winter, right? Crypto winter,
Yep,
right? And
exactly.
and propagated and became a thing during DeFi summer, right? And they use that period to go to hackathons, to go to conferences, to find their initial core users, experiment, and not get afraid essentially to be dirty, right? And to be kind of powering through this tough time, in my opinion. So we're about to see the most innovative projects, the most exciting founders, the most exciting problems being solved. And it helps me as a creator because it helps me kind of weave and find the most exciting stories to sort of document.
I couldn't agree more. And I say, like, from my research, and I'm reaching out to everyone in my contact book to talk about this specific topic. Not one person has been bearish about the bear market, and I think that has got to be one of the biggest incentives for crypto in general. That like everything's down 80%, and people are like, well, because again, these are all people that as well have been through the last cycle. So it's like, well, a lot of them are also still up on their investments. So I think it's a time we can focus on. But talking about sort of the bear markets and the last bear market to now, I'm going to ask a difficult question. So I'm going to say fast forward 5 years. I know that's a lifetime in crypto, and everyone's like, oh, you can't do that. But let's try 5 years time. From your insights from all your guests, what do you think the NFT landscape is going to look like?
Whew. I think PFP like images are just like the beginning of what NFTs could be. Um, I think we're about to go through a wave of finding new use cases for this tool, this NFT tool, right? I'm not sure what it is. I'm experimenting more on the podcasting front. We're seeing it become really innovative on the music front with attaching like royalties to it, right? Um, I
Yeah.
think also we're going to see a lot of like wallet to wallet based messaging that it's like a concept that has been like really talked upon and sort of like lingered and discussed on crypto
Hmm.
Twitter, but has not really come about in a strong manner.
And that
So
was
I
one of the
think,
biggest issues. Did you see the whole thing with with Solend recently with that whale wallet that
oh, no, I
they
didn't.
Okay, so TLDR, they
Okay.
had a one wallet that had like 90% of liquidity in one of their pools, and it was about to get liquidated because it was leveraged. And they realized
Mm,
that if it got liquidated, then theoretically Solana itself could go down because the DEX couldn't have handled the traffic, and the liquidation bots would have gone nuts. And they tried to get hold of the wallet holder, and they couldn't. They sent on-chain messages, which are just, you have to notice that it's there. There was no real tool for the platform to get in touch with someone that had $170 million invested with them. So their proposal was to create a DAO proposal that actually got passed to take over his account and liquidate the funds manually themselves, OTC.
wow.
Which the whole industry then got very upset about. And luckily, they decided to go in a different direction. They managed to get in touch with him, but they were messaging on Twitter. They were messaging on their own Twitter. They send these on-chain messages, and I asked them, and they're like, "Yeah, we need a um, unified, agreed on messaging tool on chain that we can use." And that was just a big example of what you're saying. But I do think we need it in some way. Like, how do you message your listeners?
Right. I mean, I have an email, like a newsletter, right? Otherwise, there's no way for me to really contact the people who've collected my free NFTs. And to be frank, I don't like using Discord. I have one, and I love my family in there, but it's like it's not sustainable.
It's a
But
risk
I
as
think that
well.
the yeah, and the risk as well. Like I join a lot of Discords, and right after I like verify the captcha, I get like a bunch of DMs from random ass bots that try to like scam me. So these are things like inconsistencies, but that's part of being an early adopter to crypto that I think will get better as like the next 5 years progress, right? So wallet to wallet messaging. I also think Web3 social is about to take like a spin on itself, and we're gonna see a lot of more Web3 native like creators reaching virality. I'm hoping to be one of them at some point somehow. I don't know. It's really just being like a what's the word? Just like using all the products out there and being super open to experimentation and being a super user of all these early platforms.
Hmm.
I also think being able to essentially do like verified credentialing. For example, a lot of projects have raised money around credentials, and being able to kind of like build like your resume on chain, based off the trial and error that your wallet has went through over time. And how your on chain resume will kind of reflect your who you are off chain essentially, and you can
Hmm.
prove what you've done and the things that you've interacted with, the DAOs you've contributed to, the things that you've voted on, how much money you've made, the progress that you've kind of like contributed to in Web3 in general. um, those are some things. Another big conversation that I'm seeing across crypto Twitter and that I've been talking about more is like this concept of like peer-to-peer encryption using zero knowledge proofs, for example, right? And all the interesting things that will kind of come out of there. I'm not too familiar on that, but it's a keyword that I keep seeing propagated on my feed and guests kind of bring up as a topic of conversation. So those are some things I'm more excited about, though, to see how these like constructs and these theories get applied to the everyday person. It's why I created Mint from the get-go. I always try to create my content from like a how-to point of view to involve more and more people into the day-to-day conversation and contributions of what Web3 can offer. So I'm personally excited beyond everything that I just said. I'm personally excited about people who dumb it down, create the user level applications that allow anybody to kind of start, to progress, to contribute, to buy a wallet, to vote on something, and just be a member of Web3.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think Coinbase do it quite well. Like, you've got the Coinbase app, really straightforward, really simple. There's like a pay
Yeah.
to earn element to it. Then you've got Coinbase Pro, which I think they're getting doing away with. So I think it's really really strange. But you do need kind of that. You need some of those tools that are kind of simple for the new user to use, so that you don't have to jump into something with charts and that's super scary.
Yeah.
So the user experience at the moment in Web3 is tough.
The last thing I'll say is that I've yet to see also like insurance be done really well in crypto. That will bring more confidence to traders and to bring more confidence to the everyday user, as to kind of think of crypto as like a actual new banking primitive, a new banking system.
Hmm.
There's security with using the traditional banking system, right? You get up to 250K insured by what, the FDIC or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And we don't have that in crypto, right? We don't have that level of insurance. We're seeing top like centralized exchanges, right, go down or going bankrupt or having liquidity problems, being insolvent. And a lot of that, or like withholding funds, for example, because a lot of that is that they don't have that level of security that TradFi would kind of experience as well. So there's a lot of errors, there's a lot of issues, but it still pays to be an early adopter in crypto. And I'm powering through. What can I say?
fantastic. So I'm going to leave you with something I'm asking everyone to do at the moment, and it's a little thing that I'm calling shill or fill. So you have an
Okay.
option to fill for a minute, talking about something non-crypto related. It can be anything at all. Or you can talk about a project that's got nothing to do with you that you're super excited about that you'd like to promote.
All right, so I'm in Texas right now, in Austin. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
my brother and I, we've been kind of like traveling Austin. I came here for a conference, and we've been hitting barbecue spots every single day, trying to find the best barbecue in Austin, Texas. So this is not crypto related, but I'm gonna show the hell out of Austin barbecue because it is phenomenal. And after this, you
You're
best
tying the
believe
two
I'm
together.
going.
No one's done that yet.
No, you like that,
I like it.
huh? We're going to Terry's Black Barbecue, or Terry Black's Barbecue, whatever it's called. Right after this. So definitely chilling the barbecue here. Been eating up like no other. And yeah, that's my that's my comment.
So shill and fill. I mean, you talk
Yeah.
about innovative in the space, and you're doing it even with the silly little bits that we've got. So, Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'll leave you to get off with tea barbecue, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you, sir. I hope to have again soon.